Hello everyone, and let's talk about how your association can gain a key competitive advantage through generative AI experimentation. Now, experimenting with generative AI effectively is what fosters the integration of generative AI successfully into your association. So you want to focus on a cultural shift toward learning and discovery to align innovation across your staff and your volunteers, your chapters, your sections. And here is how you'll do it. So you want to have an iterative approach to refine the models, the processes, the member service strategies through generative AI integration. Experimentation is great for generating a lot of data. So generative AI requires data, and that will improve the accuracy of generative AI by providing it with data from experimentation and improving the way that you're using generative AI through experimentation. Associations will gain a lot of agility by adapting to evolving generative AI advancements. What do I mean by that? Well, generative AI is improving over time, all the time. It's improving, it's getting better and better and better. And so what used to be good yesterday may not be optimal tomorrow. And you want to keep experimenting over time and seeing what works with new and improved generative AI tools. I do see some challenges when I work with associations on experimentation. One is the fear of failure. Staff and volunteers often fear failure, and that hinders innovation. So association executives need to take on the responsibility of creating psychological safety for risk-taking. Psychological safety, which is a term from my friend Amy Edmondson, is about, and she endorsed my books. So Amy Edmondson talked about how you want to be able to take risks and fail and not be punished for it. So that's what psychological safety is about. So have iterative experimentation that allows failure because you'll get insights. So of course, success is great because that gives you the outcome you want, but failure is valuable too because it gives you knowledge. And you will not have success without trying. And trying, if you're really trying, you will inevitably have some failures. So you need to be accepting and actually welcoming failures. You need to praise people for failing well, not failing doing the same things and failing, but failing in new ways that gets knowledge. So if they fail in new ways that gets knowledge and they experiment, you want to praise that and support that. So you as an association executive need to actively champion experimentation as a core value. And if you're not an association executive, if you're an association professional or a volunteer, you need to tell your association executives that they need to champion experimentation as a core value. Have open acknowledgement of challenges and encourage risk-taking and experimentation, including funding risk-taking and experimentation across your association. How do you do so? So you want to build a framework for effective generative AI experimentation. Have innovation spaces that support experimentation culture. For example, you can have an idea submission platform to encourage staff and volunteers to participate in submitting ideas for experiments. And then, of course, some of them you'll want to support them carrying out the experiments. Have cross-functional teams to provide diverse perspectives and collaboration. So these cross-functional teams can take on experiments that cross departments, have cross-functional team with some chapter leaders and some volunteer coordinators, maybe some chapters that do have cross-functional teams across the regions, not only in one chapter, to conduct various experiments. Have internal hackathons to inspire rapid prototyping of generative AI tools, where people just sit around and try out generative AI tools for various purposes and talk to each other and try to improve them. Have knowledge sharing systems that document learning and best practices. There are a number of knowledge sharing systems, knowledge management systems, and hopefully you have them as part of your AMS, association management system, but there are also other knowledge management systems. You have them as part of Microsoft or Atlassian, has Confluence, so consider what works best for you. I'll tell you about a case study of working with the National Insurance Association, about 30-ish staff that face some engagement challenges. So they asked me to help out because they know about my expertise with change management and the future of work and generative AI in particular. And they wanted to use generative AI to improve these engagement challenges. So I worked to create a cross-functional team with various stakeholders and we structured experimentation with generative AI tools with various metrics for success and safe spaces for learning, innovation, psychologically safe spaces. We introduced generative AI tools for content personalization, for community engagement, for event planning, and we've had really good results. After 6 months, the personalized content delivery enhanced member satisfaction and improved online discussions. We've increased member engagement with online resources by 20%. Some of those were paid resources, so that was a direct monetary tool. Increased participation in chapter events by 15%. So again, some of those were paid events, that was a direct monetary tool to the association's bottom line. And more broadly, it helped cultivate a more agile and innovation-ready organizational culture for the association that paved the way for other generative AI tool adoption and other adoption of other technology as well. So, as you're thinking about the future and generative AI adoption, think about experimentation. It's essential for your association to thrive in our increasingly disrupted competitive landscape. Have the right infrastructure, the right mental infrastructure, have a psychologically safe infrastructure for people to think appropriately and have the right mindset, growth mindset, that's Carol Dweck's concept, around generative AI. Associations should view experimentation by their staff and by their volunteers, by their chapter sections as a competitive advantage. And the culture of innovation is what will unlock the transformative potential of generative AI. Long-term success for your association hinges on being adaptive in our increasingly disrupted world and being seen as a thought leader in your industry to attract new members and retain existing members. And a culture of experimentation with generative AI will help you do that. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you checked out this video, and please shoot me any questions at gleb@disasteravoidanceexperts.com. Again, my email where you can send me any questions is gleb@disasteravoidanceexperts.com.